So when you take a screw out of the airbox, you should not see dripping. I know what's happened. The bike's been on its side, oil's risen up, it's gone into the airbox. The oil filter's got oil on it, the airbox has oil in it, and it's just all the emissions are just a bit all over the place at the moment. Okay, well, you know, every bike tells a tale once you break them down. I could have easily messed with adjustments over there at this stage without doing this and thinking it'll be okay, and then we notice that there's an issue here. This is why there is a kind of checklist on this stuff, guys. You know, you charge the battery, you clean the carbs if they have them, you know, you clean the air filters, you check for splits in the boxes and the lines, etc, etc. This is why you do that. Dripping out of the airbox, not good. So there is an amount of oil in there, and the filter's just soaked up. Look, it's tacky there, it's tacky in the middle. The filter's just soaked it up. In fact, look, it's all oiled. So, I mean, my carb cleaner will deal with all of that, but it kind of explains there what's going on. Does this come out? Yeah, it does. Right, let's get all that cleaned up. This fly screen. Just get your fingers in there. There's a pool of it, guys, look. Absolute pool of it in there. So that's exactly what's happened. The bike's been on its side, the oil's come up the chamber, it's come through and it's sitting in there. Okay, well, at least once you find the issue, at least you can deal with it, you know. Right, let's get this cleaned up. So there's bits and pieces starting to add up now. I took the filter home to give it a good clean in the sink. If you spray too much carb cleaner through, brake cleaner, all that, you can wreck it. Hardest part now is this. How do I get in there? I mean, I've got an old rag here. I'm just going to try and soak it all up as best as I can, and then I'll be spraying it out. Yeah. I mean, a little bit of oil in this casing isn't gonna cause much issue, but little pools will soak it up, like we saw, will soak up the air filter, and that will change the ratios of the air fuel mix, you know. The other thing that could have happened, because I was looking at the window when I stopped it, and oil was riding up the window, so the other thing that could be happening here, although again quite rare, is that oil is shooting up while the engine's running. I don't think that's the case. Let me find that hole anyway. I don't think that's the case right now, because it's rare for that to happen, although I am going to drop a little bit of oil so it's at the top of the window. I think the bike was on its side and that's how the oil's come up, and it may, you know, some of it may have come through the whole system, some of it may have come up through there. Either way, it was in there, the air filter soaked it up, and the bike wasn't happy about it. I think the bike's going to feel much happier when we fire it back up, but I'm waiting for the sun to come back out to clean the air filter. I'm going to keep spraying and cleaning this out. I don't want to spray too much cleaner in there because it's, you know, because it's flammable, and the point there is that when we first start it up, it's going to all be a little bit kind of raw. Actually, this cloth's doing a good job anyway, actually, getting it all out. Okay guys, because I'm me and I can't help myself, what I did last week was I took power. This maroon is definitely powered, and I powered it to the blue. I then connected a switch up, so I've gone all around the circuit and connected a switch to the high beam, and that did switch the light on. However, the ignition also switched that light on, so I'd run two circuits to the same bulb. But this bulb does have two separate circuits on it. What I've done now is I have now added, I've taken the maroon from the blue and put it to the white, so that should give us a base from the ignition, and then the switch should give us the secondary one. There you go, look. Okay, so actually that problem there is solved. What I had to do was, look, I've taken an earth from there to there. What I'll check in a minute is if I detach that earth, do I lose the system? Because that tells me if the earth's in there. So I am of course going to neaten all of that up. If it needs the whole system, I'll leave it in place. I'll tuck it all in, you'll never see it. But there's kind of a little bit more to it. I've got a feeling the screen isn't needed, and that will do that without it. But if not, we'll manage it. That's good, that's great news. Over here, I just want the air filter to dry a bit more. I might take it down to a hairdryer for a few minutes. And you guys said that I could use this switchgear on there. I probably could, but that's all too close, so I don't want to do that. Also, the switchgear plugs in under the light here, and that one plugs in at the back of the bike, so it's a much longer throw. I probably could do some testing there, but at the moment I'm just going to kind of stick with what we've got, which is actually that's kind of okay now, isn't it? That's kind of done. What I might do is throw that battery. I might throw that battery on charge. It's been fine, and it will start the bike now anyway. I mean, funny enough, now this bike needs putting back together, and it's basically done. It'll have to pass its MOT. That's great news. This has a 1.5 years left on its MOT, which is really good news as well. So let me see. There really is no point putting the filter in, guys, unless it's dry. Actually, that's dry enough. That's plenty dry. I might give it another half an hour, but that's doing fine. I've said before that I used to have sheets of A4 filter, and then you can cut them out. That would have been so handy on this occasion, but I've used them all up doing things like covering, like when I did Gary's Suzuki, I used a piece to cover his airbox a bit more to richen the mixture for the ULEZ. I'm getting lots and lots and lots of different ULEZ stuff. People are messaging me, I'm helping them out. Riverbank aren't too happy about it, but it's the right thing to do. Riverbank are giving lots of mixed messages, and I don't like their system. I'm going to be honest. I don't like the fact that you could go in the morning, pay 175 for the dyno, fail, pay them 150 quid to retune the bike, and then they charge you another 175 quid for the dyno in the same day. I think that's a rip-off. I think if you pay for the dyno and it fails and they do the work, they should do the second run on them, actually, out of courtesy, rather than just kind of making so much money out of us. There is a new centre opening up somewhere. I think it's Peterborough-ish, but it's meant to be kind of London. It's meant to kind of cater for the Londoners as well, so I might look into that in a future video. So the sun's out, that will help that filter dry. This little Peugeot, I've wanted to get this out for a while, but I didn't want to overwhelm myself with projects. After today or tomorrow, I'm going to be cleaning the carb, quick carb clean, not using the fuel tank. I want to drain the fuel tank, but quick carb clean and fresh fuel. And I think technically this is meant to be a runner rider. If it is, I'll give the exhaust a full clean and paint with high temp black, throw it back together, get it a little battery, just get it kind of, this is going to be a cheap £300 or £400 50cc for someone. They're generally good bikes, so it will be cool. So I've drained the fuel out of that, and I can assure you I haven't been to the bathroom. That's stale fuel that's come out of there, so I'll get some fresh fuel now when I go and get a snack. So the air filter's back in. The throttle cable's not connected, so it's back on its stopper that I haven't adjusted. Okay, so it's back on its baseline stopper that I haven't adjusted. I still may need to adjust that, but let's see how we are. So I can't throttle it, but I can start it, and I can throttle it from down there. Let's see if it kind of just seems a little bit happier. I can still adjust the adjuster down there. I can still do that, but it might feel a bit happier anyway. We'll kind of wait and see if the choke comes off, see if it sits a bit happier. It sounds better already to me. So I think I definitely need to add an adjustment to the plate. So there's a little, it must be an Allen key back there. It's tiny, but I'll find one to make it work. And then we pull this out a tiny little bit to give it a bit more of a stable idle. What wouldn't hurt is if I take this off again in half an hour and just check that oil isn't coming up. And I do need to drop a little bit of oil because it is over, so I'm going to do that now. And I mean just a little bit. I'm going to leave the oil in, it's quite fresh looking. Just going to drop enough to bring it back into the oil window, but I'm not going to drop it until the oil has filled the window up again. So you see now, you can see that the oil is halfway up. In a minute, when it's all settled, it goes above the window. So I'm going to wait for that, then drop some, just so that it's at, you know, kind of almost where it is, a bit higher than it is now actually. And then everything should come into place with this bike. It might need a bit of a run, the idle will be a tiny bit higher, but I think this is kind of it as it's meant to be once that's all done, you know, so I'm not too worried about that. Over here, I popped the carb out and I drained it, but I am going to give it a very quick carb clean, so I'm going to leave it all connected up. Just pop the bottom off, just clean out the jets, pull them out, clean them out, put it back in, and chuck it back on. I have a feeling this will just start, actually. Where is this pipe going to? What on earth is that? What is that wiring? Where's that coming from? Auto choke maybe? Nope, we've got auto choke. No idea. Where is that coming from? There's wiring in there. It might have had one of them bottom carb heater things or something. This might be a different carb. But for now, the clean, as I said, just pop the jets out, clean them out. Let's see what the suction. Yeah, it seems alright. Just needs a bit of a clean. So I knew there were pieces missing to this thing, but I thought I had an airbox. Now this is a version of an airbox, but I don't know how this connects to the carb. Because look, it would go way out towards the front of the engine there, and the carb's up there. So I think that's come with this, and it's not the airbox. I've got this little air filter. I think it's missing an airbox. I've been looking at that weird thing and thinking it was the airbox. I don't think it is. I'm going to have a good look just in case, but I'm pretty sure I haven't got an airbox. And I'm going to check online just to see that I'm not missing something, and that is the airbox.